All right. Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Gabe,
It's Caleb.
and today you are watching another episode of the Positive Outlook podcast. Caleb, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing. How are you doing today, Gabe?
I'm doing phenomenal. With as every good podcast starts, what does a good podcast start with?
Starting last episode, an icebreaker.
An
And
icebreaker.
today, my question, because it's my turn, we're going to alternate each week, is if you could give yourself advice from today to 10 years ago, what would you give to yourself?
Ooh, man. Well, this boils down to a lot of principles in life. Lately I've been investing in a lot of stocks, and I would tell myself to go back and invest in a certain stock, put all my money into Bitcoin, right? No, but then that's only if money is the value. So going back, I think it's more important to live in the reality of life and have good moral
Hmm.
character. I would go back to my younger self and just tell myself to always do the right thing. When presented with whatever in life, always make sure that you're doing the right thing and question your intention with each action that you have.
Very good advice.
Now, what about you? What would you tell yourself?
I feel like you're going to hate my answer because it sounds like a cop out, but
Mm.
all I would say is good luck. Good luck, buddy, because I don't want anything to have gone differently than it has because I've learned some hard lessons, some really hard lessons, and some really easy ones, and
Yeah.
everything in between. And I don't think I would change it for anything.
Nice. Nice. I love it. That's awesome. You wouldn't want to like tell yourself a secret, or like the winning Powerball numbers or something like
Well,
that.
I don't want the butterfly effect, and then I start, everything just
Yeah.
changes
And then
immediately.
you come back
So
to reality and you're a cyborg.
exactly. So to avoid that, I would just say good luck.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Sweet. That was a good one. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So, anyway, talking about today's episode, are you excited for it?
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Today we're talking about how to kill complacency and build resilience.
Absolutely. This is so important just to have in your life. And kind of a little anecdote to my life is lately complacency has been way more prevalent than resilience. And it's been not even frustrating because it's complacency, right? I'm just accepting like life, it is what it is, not striving for more, knowing what I'm okay with living with in my life. And it kind of reminds me of back when a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I made a TikTok. I remember I was sitting out in front of my apartment and I made a TikTok. And I asked the camera, I said, oh, let me get it right. I don't want to mess this up. Ask yourself not what's the least you can do to be good, but what's the most you can bear to be great. And I think that's a question that I've lost along the way. And I ask
Hmm.
myself a lot very often, what's the least I can do to get by? What's the least I can do to make it through today, tomorrow, the next day, everything like that, and not be, I guess, disappointed in myself, right?
The good enough stuff.
Yeah, yeah, just the good enough. So I really need to flip the table and start asking myself, what's the most I can bear to be great, so I can get back to where I was before and who I used to be, because I miss that guy. I do. I wish I was as resilient as I used to be. I wish I had as much discipline. I wish I was as tough as I used to be. And I'm just not. That's just life though, right? Sometimes you have your ups and downs in life. There's your roller coasters, and sometimes you just kind of lose track of who you are along the way, and you just need a reminder to get back on track.
Exactly. And as long as you get to that reminder, I mean, awareness is key. And now that you're aware, you've got lots to work with here. But
Yeah.
let me ask you, how exactly did you become aware that you were complacent?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it's about setting a precedent. So it's kind of just it's the small things, right? Noticing what I'm gonna decide to have for breakfast, what I'm gonna do with my free time. Like I used to read a lot. I used to read a lot of books, and in turn, reading the books, like I read a lot of Tony Robbins. I listened to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk. Just filling my spare time with that made me feel more empowered to make better decisions in my life. Whereas with my small decisions, like those things, I stopped listening to Gary Vee, I stopped reading, I stopped getting the empowerment to make all the good small decisions. And in total, brick by brick, which we'll talk about later, my whole brick wall kind of just weakened, and I became, I don't want to say less of a man, but kind of less of a man. That's how I feel.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask just for our viewers so they can kind of get a nice, easy cut definition. How do you define complacency? What would you say the
Yeah.
definition of complacency?
So the actual definition of complacency is showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So ultimately, it's just allowing yourself. It's the age-old quote that our generation always throws out there. It is what it is, right? You hear that
Yep.
so often, and it is so common that it is what it is. We accept life as it hits us, um, and we kind of just roll with the punches without doing the extra work to get to put ourselves in a better position because
Hmm.
we already feel like we're so run thin on what we're already doing just to get by.
Exactly. I just think it's kind of crazy that my answer to the last icebreaker was complacency is one of my biggest issues or struggles.
Right.
Because complacency is a killer. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the number one enemies because it really sneaks up on you. Generally, when you're in a good place, it's something that just kind of slithers up, and before you know it, boom,
Yep.
you're a complacent being. And one of the number one ways that we think is the best way to help kill complacency is that awareness of complacency. So generally, we like to say that there's four ways to spot this complacency. And Gabe, if you'd like to start us off,
Yeah.
let's uh, let's let them know how to become aware of this killer.
Yeah, so the easiest one right off the bat is satisfaction. So it's satisfying knowing just what is in life. So it is what it is, right? You're satisfied with that, opposed to rather what can be. So you stop being a dreamer, you stop being a visionary. You don't fall in love with the potential of certain situations anymore, and that's how you know that's a first sign. It's just you're just straight up satisfied with your minimalistic life.
And in this sense, it's almost like you only see right in front of you rather than way down the road like
Right.
you were seeing. Maybe you got the job you were looking for. Maybe you moved into the house you've always wanted. Just some milestone generally. It's not always a milestone, but that's for me personally when it hits the most is once I hit a milestone, I get that satisfied, okay, we did it, we're here, let's relax a little, let's sit back. We've done a lot of hard work to get here. And then next thing you know, you're complacent.
Yeah. I want to go back to what I said. I want to reiterate. It's not bad to live a minimalistic life and to be happy with um, the I don't want not the shortcomings, right? You deserve a lot more in life. Your life should add a lot of value to your life in every instance that you can. So because you're satisfied with a minimalistic life doesn't mean anything bad, but you should always be striving to add more value to the things that make you happy.
Right, and value to yourself, whether you're working on your spirituality, your relationship with God, or you're working on your physical strength, or just anything. You should never stop growing. It's not that we think you always need more materialistically. It's not a materialistic thing. It's more about your personal value
Mm-hmm.
and yourself and the people around you, even.
Yeah, absolutely. So, moving into the second step is peaked. So it's the sense that no more can be done versus always striving for more. So another thing, like you can tell yourself, "Oh, I peaked when I was 21. I peaked at 22, right?" And it's like no, you didn't. That maybe it was when you were like the most popular, felt the coolest, or you were the healthiest, but like you can still get back to that until you're an old fart, right? Like even all the way up until you're 60, 65, whatever. I still see people like on the internet there's like 60, 65-year-old men that are just jacked. And I'm like that's better than any shape I've ever been in my whole life. And I'm like so
Well,
go
and
ahead.
I feel like people don't understand like what's ahead of them. I mean, how can you? Because we're not there yet. But you have so much life experience to go through, so many more things to learn. And thinking how to grow rich, they say that the minimal wise age is 40. Once you enter your 40s, you've actually experienced enough of life that you can make really well informed decisions while you still have plenty of time of your youth,
Mm-hmm.
depending on, it might sound weird saying 40 is young to people that are like younger than us, but 40 is not old,
Right.
nowhere near. So, but yeah, the people that think they peak in high school, get out of here. Get
Mm-hmm.
out of here.
Yeah. Always strive for more. You can always become a better person, right? I mean, most of you guys are probably great already, but do it for you. Don't do it for other people. Understand that you have your own standard of who you want to become, and you should work every day to become that version of yourself. Right?
All right, moving on to numero tres.
Mm-hmm. You wanna do it?
Sure. Status quo. It's a lackadaisical acceptance of the traditional ways of behaving versus excitement for new ways of getting things done.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's literally just following society standard on things, right? Like go to high school, go to college, get a job, work for 40 years, retire, that kind of thing, right? Opposed to I don't really think that our generation is too bad at this. It's a lot of people trying to figure out things their own way to get through life and new exciting ways. Like we see a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays that are our age that are doing new ways to get through life, and I think that that's really cool. But that
And when I hear lackadaisical, it makes me think of, waking up, you're tired, you have no motivation to really do much, and so you're just going through the motions and back to the whole bare
right,
minimum thing. Like you are just, it's pure monotony.
yep,
You have very little joy per se in what you're doing.
you're just a
And
robot.
exactly. So we need to get that excitement back in there. So
Yep,
if you've noticed that you're kind of zombieing your way through the work week or zombieing your way through whatever it is you're working towards, that is complacency sneaking up on you.
yep, yep, absolutely. I feel like those are probably the most common. Is just being a robot throughout your day, like a zombie, a brainless zombie, just following, doing as you're told, and the is it is what it is mentality, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
you go through the motions, you go through the steps, and then you're sitting there at the end of the day, super upset with your current position in life, really feel like you're needing more, and then you just tell yourself, well, it is what it is.
Yep.
When you
And
deserve a
just
lot more
accept
than
it.
that. Yeah, you deserve a lot more than that. All right, number 4, and the final step on how to spot complacency is regression. So it's a lack of interest in innovation and continuous improvement versus energy toward advancing and improving. So this is more so just like we kind of talked about. It is what it is. Instead of just accepting that and not following for any new outcomes in your life, you just accept that and you kind of roll with it. And you
And
shouldn't be
and
doing that.
and this one's more of kind of the product of the previous three because now you're actually regressing. Maybe you're getting in trouble at work because you've been doing the bare minimum, or maybe you're just skating by when it comes to your bills you're paying. Whatever it is, you're now at the point where you were here, and now over time, complacency has brought you back down to here,
Mhm.
and that's regression.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of the result of it, and it's one of the worst things because once you've realized you've regressed, it's it's a hard thing to battle with.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, "Oh, this time already went by and now it's going to take all this extra time for me to get back to where I was." But I don't know. That's a really cool thing is when it comes to life and when you sit down and you weigh the pros and the cons and you say, "Oh, this might take years for me to accomplish." Just understand the time's going to pass anyway. So you might as well
Hmm.
start doing something.
And you can always build up resilience.
Yep.
Always.
Yep. I think I don't know. I've always had this really exciting mindset and I don't know, this could apply to this, I guess, but more so in life when you're building up all of your things that you like in life, like whether it's your career, your relationships, your friendships, anything like that. You're building up your own tower, right? With each block. And then things start to fall apart. Things don't go your way. It's just life. Things start to happen. And the tower that you built, you start to see crumbling. And while the tower is crumbling, it's a terrifying experience because everything that you've worked for is slowly falling apart in front of you. However, When the bricks are all laid out in front of you and you get to rebuild your own building, it is so exciting. Just having the fresh start, knowing you can move forward exactly how you want to move forward, build it up exactly how you want it, build it up better this time because you understand what happened wrong last time.
Exactly. And that's really the importance of understanding when you've become complacent, because now you can avoid all those pitfalls of complacency. And as you're building your tower, you can kind of sidestep all these pit holes around you.
Yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
All right. No worries. It's all right. It's allergy season. Don't beat yourself up.
No, seriously, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah. So now we're moving into resilience. So, Caleb,
Resilience.
Caleb, what is resilience?
Resilience is the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties or toughness.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like I don't know. You look at like a rubber band or a hair tie. Why are those so popular?
I
Right?
don't know, why are they so popular?
It's because they're elastic, right? They have the ability to you can stretch them and then they always go right back to where you need them and that's their entire purpose and they're super popular for that reason, you know? It's something so
Hmm.
simple, but it's a solution for a lot of things, right? So I think if we could kind of view ourselves as rubber bands or as hair ties and understand that some situations are gonna pull us apart and stretch us away from who we want to be, but we are always gonna come back to that center point and become who we need to be.
And that's really a good way to put what resilience is, because a lot of people think that your building resilience is like, oh, well, that means there's going to be less hardships, right? No, no. Resilience simply means you're going to work your way through these hardships.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it means. We're not denying the fact that life is going to throw lemons at you nonstop, 24/7, out of nowhere. I mean, you never know when a lemon's going to hit you, but once it hits you, you'll be ready for it if you can build up some more
Yes,
resilience.
you're gonna make lemonade, right?
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah. So just understand that you kind of need to picture yourself as the rubber band, as the hair tie, and know that even with resilience, you're still going to be stretched thin. You're still going to be pulled apart. The resilience comes afterwards, and that's where you build yourself back to where you need to be. Right? You're still going to struggle. You're still going to have hardships. You're still going to have hurdles, obstacles, adversity, but you're going to be able to build yourself back. And it's going to be exciting. You're going to want to build yourself back. All right. So, helping with resilience, a really important part is seeking help in building your connections. So, it's really important to identify people in your circle that are there to help you be strong. You see it too much nowadays, and I hate it. Is that people allow other people to be weak? More so in the fact that they just aren't honest anymore. You need to have friends around that are going to give it to you straight. Friends that are going to be honest to you when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. If you're doing actions that have negative consequences, you should have a friend there to tell you that that's how it's going to work out. I think that's really important to have.
And as we've said before in episode number 4 of our first season, long time ago, you are a product of your environment. So if you really want to understand why you may be lacking in this resilience, maybe take a look at the people you hang out with the most. If you would consider them resilient, then maybe that's not where the issue lies. However, if you kind of pick up on, okay, wow, these guys kind of just do nothing all day, or whatever their issues
Mm-hmm.
may be, you can really find out a lot of things about yourself based off of the people you're around.
Yeah.
So you got to be real cautious with that. I believe we have another episode on it called support systems.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's 2 whole episodes on it, which means it is a big deal.
Yep. And you can never, well, you can be afraid to ask for help, but never let that get in the way of asking for help. It is so important for other people to understand your situation so that they can help you along the way. Don't be embarrassed to ask for help. It takes a lot of courage and it's a very strong thing to do.
And find someone that you can be straightforward with as well, because you're never going to get the most benefits from advice from people when you kind of manipulate or navigate your story to make you sound a little bit better.
Right.
maybe, I mean, if you don't know people as well, yeah, I understand why you're doing it, but you're never going to get the same advice as if you gave it to them straight. And then, like Gabe said, find someone that can give it to you straight,
Yep,
and it'll really help keep each other in check.
absolutely. All right. So moving into the next one is foster wellness. This one kind of just goes without saying. It's super obvious. Just take care of yourself. Watch what you're listening to. Watch what you're putting into your body. Watch how you're treating yourself. Everything like that. Understand that it's really important just to take care of yourself, because if life's already kicking you down, you don't want to give yourself another disadvantage. You want to give yourself a fighting chance against whatever you're facing.
How good do you feel starting the day off on 2.5 hours of sleep?
It's so bad, man. It's such a bad
Yeah.
experience. You're like, oh, today's gonna suck already. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
every little thing that happens to you throughout the day, you're like, man, I've only got 2.5 hours of sleep. It was supposed to be bad anyway, right? So same thing. Like you go to like Taco Bell for breakfast. Your stomach's upset until at least 5 p.m.
Whoa, we didn't have to diss on my Taco Bell breakfast here.
Dude, no, no, no. So if we did a tier list right now, dude, Taco Bell's top of the tier. They've got phenomenal breakfast, but the way you feel afterwards, oh my gosh, yeah. So it's really important. There's like a mental, physical kind of line, right? Going to get Taco Bell for breakfast is like, woo, I'm gonna have the best day of my life, and then you eat it, and you're like, yeah, okay, okay, and then you feel it, right? And the feeling is where you really need to focus on the foster your wellness. So so maybe you shouldn't have had that for breakfast, right? Yeah.
I just there's so many other fast food breakfasts that we could have poked fun at. You chose my favorite.
Why I said Taco Bell? It's because it's the one that I would pick, right? I'm talking to myself. That's what we talk about when we're here on Positive Outlook, is that most of the time we're talking to ourselves in the camera. So that's what it is. I was badgering at myself there. So you were just collateral, and I'm sorry for that.
Took me down with you.
Yeah. All right.
But seriously, guys, just start taking care of yourself, even in the smallest ways possible. Whether it's I'm going to drink 2 glasses of water today, or I'm going to stop eating this amount of sugar. It can start with such small baby steps. And once you've started building on it, that's when you look back and you can go, wow, I've actually been taking care of myself. And it's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. It's motivating. It's momentum. It's like a snowball effect, right? Just keep building, keep building, keep building, and eventually you'll find your new plateau. And regardless of if you plateau from doing better actions in your life, that new plateau will be a better plateau than when you were doing shit for yourself, right?
Hmm.
So, all right, finding purpose in life. Ooh, that one's heavy, huh? Pur-
Yeah, tell me about it.
Purpose is hard, man. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's what gets you excited to do the next thing. It's what gets you excited to put one foot after the other. And I feel like our generation lacks a lot of purpose. And I know me personally, I struggle with finding purpose, and it's something I've been working really hard on. But I understand that once you find purpose, or even it's the small wins, right? Even if you find purpose for a couple weeks, it's still something that can get you through and get you moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, moving without purpose is like setting sail with no sails. It's
Right.
really tough to do, and sometimes you do have to muster your way through it. Sometimes you got to pull out those old rows and just go right through it.
Yep.
But um, I mean, really, it's the most important thing. And personally, I know this is yeah. I'm just gonna say this. My purpose. I've finally been kind of reconnecting with my religion, and it took a long, painful time, and it's still taking a
Yeah.
long, painful time. But it's helped so much finding my purpose on this planet.
Awesome, man. That is so exciting to hear. I love it, dude. God plays such a big role in my life as well, so I totally understand it. It's um I don't know. It's great. And sometimes you can just trust him to put the sails up while you just know you just
Hmm.
got to keep rowing, right?
Yep,
That's it.
exactly.
So, awesome. And then in purpose, I think it's really important to create goals. It's really important to define what you want out of life, whether it's a daily goal, a weekly goal, 90-day goal, full year, whatever you want. Define your goal and start working towards it, because then you have a definite purpose and you're working towards that as well.
which perfectly is what the final step to us building resilience is creating and moving towards your goals. That was
Whoa.
seamless right there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have goals to move forward to, you're setting sail without a map. You're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of guessing where you're going, and it's pretty scary if you don't know where you're headed at all.
Yeah.
Goals can change over time. That's completely okay. But if you have no aiming point, how are you even going to be able to shoot your shot?
Yeah.
You can't. So we are huge on building goals here at Positive Outlook because they have so many different benefits. We won't go too deep into them because we have plenty of episodes, mainly dream crafting and goal setting. And then in episode 3, can't think of the title, but we do talk about how to create goals as well. But you need to pick things that can get you motivated and get you moving each day.
Yep.
And it's almost it feels like magic. You write this stuff on a piece of paper, you look at it every single day before you get out of bed and then before you leave the house, and you'll notice that you just have a little more traction. You see that you have taken the time to take a thought and make it into reality, and you are now looking at this reality and creating this reality every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. So make sure you guys are writing down your goals, something that is trackable and attainable, obviously. Um,
You know?
you wanna be able to work towards something. It gives your life a lot of
And
purpose.
full transparency, I actually have been lacking on my specific goals.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
hear you.
I am going to promise you guys and you, Gabe,
Yep.
and myself that I'm going to make a minimum of 3 clear and concise goals for myself.
Okay. Yeah. Are you doing a time frame? What's the time frame on it?
Like when I'll have them done by, or
Yeah. Or
by the
are you doing like characteristic goals? Are you doing like strength goals? What are you doing?
I was just gonna do one long-term goal, one like mid-term goal, and
Yeah.
one short-term goal. So
Okay. I'll do it with you. That's why I
cool,
wanted clarifications, cause
got
right.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So so guys, in life, the complacency is going to attack you. Eventually, you're going to hear the voice of ordinary in your head, letting you know, telling you that you don't deserve more, that who you are today is the best you will ever be, and that's just not true. Add value to your life. Find the things that you love. Find the people you love. Add them to your circle. Add the things you love to your schedule, and make shit happen. Be happy. Live for yourself. Get it done. Yeah.
exactly. And the thing is, it's okay to backslide. Everybody black backsides, and it's important to understand that once you've backslid, there's always a way up and out.
Mhm.
Always. So it might not always feel like it, or you might have to take the tiniest of baby steps to get out of your backslide, but there's always a way up and out.
Yeah.
Always.
And understand, guys, you don't have to figure this out tomorrow. You don't have to sit down, figure all this out, and then in 7 days say, okay, I figured life out. That's not going to happen. And no matter how bad you even want it to happen, that's not how it's going to work. This might take you half a year. It might take you a couple of years. It might take you a decade to figure out what you really want out of life and how you're going to tackle it and move forward. But like I said earlier, the time is going to pass anyway, so you might as well start doing it.
And you know us, we absolutely are fixated on loving the journey.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to learn to love the journey, sometimes you have to relearn to love the journey, but it's not necessarily about the destination. It's about the things you do, the things you experience, the people you meet along the way that gives you the experience of life.
Mhm.
And so it can be, sometimes I do get a little envious of my goals because I'm like sitting here, I'm like, man, I can't wait for 6 months to pass because then I'll be here.
Mhm.
But you have to remember that it's not necessarily just about the destination. That's a good
Right.
Kickstarter because if you choose a destination that you want, obviously it's going to get you moving.
Mhm.
But along the way, you slowly begin to realize that it's not actually the destination because once you get there, you're looking for your next destination already.
Yeah. And it's really important to understand that hurdles and adversity are going to happen and they are necessary for you to become who you need to be at the end of your journey. It is so important to understand that when
And
something is thrown your way, anything that's there to tackle you, you're meant to overcome it to become who you need to be.
and never underestimate yourself. Never think that you can't be at the place you want to be, because no matter how tiny of steps you have to start with, you you can get there. You
Yeah.
always can get there.
Yep. Absolutely. Awesome. Great energy. I hope that you all took a ton of information from this episode. I hope that it was very exciting for you guys. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add to the episode?
Um, Not really. I mean, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I had a good time recording this one. I like the energy. We actually already recorded this entire idea of the episode.
Yeah.
We did it completely differently,
Yeah.
but we had some audio issues, so we reshot it, and I like this one a lot better. I think it's a little more hopeful
Yeah.
with the vibes, and I hope you guys agree, and I hope you guys can start building that resilience and now know how to look out for complacency.
Yes. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great week and happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Peace.